Hey, what's going on guys? My name's Divine and welcome to my 10 early tips for Hogwarts Legacy. Now I want to start this off by saying this will work for both console and PC, but you will notice that all the recorded gameplay footage is on the PC version using mouse and keyboard, but have no fear, it will work on both. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright, so jumping in to tip number 1, and that's going to be utilizing and gathering field pages. Now, you're going to hear this audible ding when I cast Revelio, and that means there is a page near us. And we can kind of see it glow a little bit, but if we cast Revelio right next, we are able to obtain the actual page itself. And I'm just going to quickly cast again, and you can kind of hear them off to the distance. Now, they're not super far, but they're easily obtainable this way. Alright, so for a second method is going to be looking up either in the sky or upper parts of the castle, and you'll see these flying pages. Now, all we have to do is cast Accio on the page, and we have another page in our collection, and some easy experience. Alright, so for our third method of finding pages is going to be these statues.
Revelio.
Now, all we have to do is simply cast Levioso on them, and just like that, we get another page and some more experience. Alright, so lastly, this is our fourth and final way to find pages early on. Now, there are additional ways to do this, but these are the only four that I'm going to go over for this early guide here. So what you just saw there is a moth portrait, and what we do is cast Lumos on it, and it gives us a guide of where to go next and find these little moths to capture and bring back to the portrait. Now, one thing to note is these moths are never very far away. Like this one, it was only a short jaunt away. It's just sometimes they can be a little tricky to find. Now, to succeed at this, all you have to do is come by, decast Lumos, and it will unlock your page. Alright, so moving on to tip number 2, and that is going to be understanding how to unlock these puzzle doors. Now, these can be kind of infuriating and a little bit tricky, but I'm going to show you a spot that actually is going to break down this and make it a little bit easier to understand. So let's go and look at the map over here. Alright, so now that we have the map up, what we're going to do is come down here over to the library annex. Now, the flue flame that we actually want to get is the divination classroom, so we're going to go ahead and load and teleport right to there. It's going to load, and then you're going to be set looking at these staircases. What you need to do is turn around and run along this whole hallway up here. Don't forget to look out for those flying pages. We're going to make a right, and you're going to see another puzzle door, but what you're going to see is the box and shows you all the numbers that you need to know and how to unlock these doors themselves. And one thing to note with this whole page here is going to be that it starts from 0 and goes through 9, not 1 through 10, and that is a big common problem that I've seen with a lot of people struggling with these doors themselves. So let's go back and look at the door now. Now that we're at the door here, what we're going to do is come up to the door and actually hit reveal, and this is going to give us our equation. Now we're going to see 03 question mark 5, so that's our first equation. What we're trying to do is add all three of those numbers up to 5. So let's add the two numbers themselves. 0 plus 3 is 3, so 5 minus 3 is 2. And what was 2 on our list? But it was the goat horn. So the number 2 up there is what we're going to change this question mark. And one thing to note is when you're rolling these dice, it is going to go from the lowest to the highest. It doesn't just appear sporadically different ones until you find the right one that you want to choose. This next one, we're going to come over here and hit this double icon for the octopus looking thing, and then we should be having access to the door. So it's easy as that. It's just learning what the icons are and making sure you're doing the right dice in the wall to the right icon that you need. So simple as that, easy to do, guys, and hopefully that helps you out just a little bit more. Alright, so moving on to tip number 3, and that is going to be utilizing flue flames effectively. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to see these green flames with the little plaque above them, and that's how you know you've activated them. But if you haven't actually done that yet, you can actually open up your map and you'll see all these little different icons. Now, some of them will be green, some of them will be gray. It's as easy as just setting your waypoint and just following that waypoint over to the next flue flame to activate them, and they are super effective that way. And one other cool feature is we can open up our quests here, and if we hit on this, we can actually hit locate on map. You'll see it at the bottom right there. We just press F and it'll actually open up our map and bring us to where exactly we need to go. And then we can just select the closest flue flame. So not all the time is this work properly. A lot of times it should just like narrow down and allow you to pick that flue flame right next to it if you want. I've had it like we just showed here where it kind of doesn't, it gets you close to where you need to go, and then you just kind of have to fine tune where you need to get that flue flame. But it's as easy as that, guys. It's super cool. All right, so tip number 4, I want to talk a little bit more about chests. Now, you're going to find chests all over the place, especially when you're exploring Hogwarts, whether it's inside Hogsmeade, outside in the forest. I don't care where you are in this game, you're probably going to come across chests. Now, one thing I'm showing here is you want to make sure about how much inventory space you have, because you don't want to pick up items out of a chest when your inventory is full. And the reason, because when you open up a chest, it actually links to whatever level you are. So if you are level 4, that is what item you are going to get. Now, like this chest, I only got coins, but if there was an item, say in one of these chests, we do want to be aware that what level we are and make sure that our inventory is free. So like I was saying, if you are level 4 and you open this chest and you can't hold the item, say you leave, you get 2 or 3 levels, you come back, say as a level 7 now. When you go to reclaim that item, it is still going to be only a level 4 item, because that's what level you were when you opened up this chest. So that's just one thing I want you guys to be aware of, especially while you're looting all these chests and getting all these cool items. About item appearances, now you will notice that my gear is very unique, I would say. And how do I do that? Well, I can actually go into the inventory itself, and we can go into any of these items, and if we had another item, we could actually choose that item and change out the way our item looks. But if we actually go back here, we can hover over the item and we'll see change appearance. Now, this allows us to change the item without losing any of the stats of the item itself. So, you know, let's say you unlocked a robe like this and you really liked it, but maybe now the robe looks like this. Well, changing the appearance allows us to go back to the way this one looks, without losing any of those stats that we worked so hard to get. Another thing to note is, say you have something like this. Let's go back here. We'll actually put on the hat. Maybe you don't want to run around with a hat like this. What you can do is actually go up here and hit invisible headwear. So what that allows us to do is still retain the stats from those items without having it visible on our head itself, you know. So we can just even do the glasses as well. Say we just really want the robe, you know, the outfit, the neckwear, the handwear, and you can see that I already have the scarf turned off. The handwear is on, and these two, you know, are changed out to the way I want it to look. So easy to do, but easily to forget as well. And the only annoying part is if you switch out any of this gear, you are going to have to go back and change the appearance of that item over and over again every time you swap out a piece of gear. And early on, it can be a little bit annoying because you're constantly flip-flopping through all that gear. All right, so moving on to tip number 6. Now that we've focused on our gear appearance, what we're going to be able to do now is change our physical appearance. So if we look over here at the map at Hogsmeade, we will see Madame Snelling's Tressiporium. So this actually allows you to change out your haircut, hair color, eyebrows, anything you might have, you know, wanted to change out a little bit. You can come here and do for pretty cheap. I think it only ends up being about 20 gold or something like that to do this. So very easy to do. It's kind of nice if you want to, you know, maybe change up your hair color to match out your new outfit. Maybe you did get some new robes and you want it to look a little bit better with a different style. This is how you do it, and it's very easy to do. All right, so moving right into tip number 7, and that is changing the day and night cycle in the game. Now, there are points in the game where you might want to explore the castle with a little less students around, or perhaps you're just in a time of day where you really want to, explore Hogsmeade at night or Hogsmeade during the day. It's as simple as opening up your map, and then at the bottom right corner, you will see wait. Now, it's F on the keyboard, and I believe it's the right thumbstick down for controller players, but all you have to do is go ahead and hit wait. It will prompt you with this screen, and it will go black again, and then come right back up here, and the daytime will have, or whatever day you have chosen will appear now. And we can see in the background there are now people, and it's a little bit more populated throughout the world. All right, so for tip number 8, I want to talk about how to refill a vendor inventory. So right here we have the potions guy. We're going to go ahead and buy all the Wiccanweld potions that he carries. And let's also pick maybe some ingredients to purchase as well. So let's buy all the leech juice, say. So we're going to go ahead and purchase all these leech juices. And now they are gone from his inventory. And if we went back, we would not see it. So what we actually have to do is utilize the wait time. So we need to wait 3 days. After 3 days, the shopkeeper's inventory will have refilled, and we can again buy all that we wish. Alright, so now I'm going to speed it up here, and we're just going to knock out these 3 days of nights and days, and we should be right about here. So we're going to go ahead and look at his potions, and again, all the leech juices there, all the Wiccanweld potions are there as well. So it's a very easy way to get a lot of potions if you have enough cash, or if you really need some ingredients and you just don't want to go out in the world and explore to find them. This is just a tried and true method. It does take a little bit to do, but it's really not that bad. Alright, so moving on to number 9, and that is casting. Now, one thing with casting is when you cast a spell, you will start to move forward. So things like while you're up here on this ledge, now this ledge is glitched currently. I cannot fall off of it, but say you were on a different part of the map and you were casting these spells, you could very easily fall down, and when you're fighting enemies you don't have to do that, but we can get around that by actually holding the right mouse button down, and we can cast as many spells as we want without moving forward. So if you're on the controller, I believe that is the left trigger on the controller, and we can see as soon as I get away from that, I am slowly just trying to walk off the ledge. But like I said, this ledge is currently glitched where I cannot fall off of it for some reason. I'm not sure. But just a helpful tip if you're fighting enemies off the face of a cliff and you don't want to fall off and face them head to head. Alright, so for tip number 10, I kind of wanted to go over a little bit more of the combat information for you. So one thing you'll see when you're fighting enemies is that orange icon around your head, and that means you can cast Protego, or you can dodge roll out of the way. Now, there is another color of that icon, and that is red, which will show up shortly here in this video clip. And the only way to avoid damage is actually dodge rolling out of the way. Unlike the orange where you can do Protego or dodge, and then the other aspect of this is if enemies end up having shields. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a video clip of it, but some enemies that you fight will actually have their own Protego bubbles on them. And if an enemy has a yellow one, you need to use Levioso. And if they have a violet one, an Accio will actually break through those shields and allow you to do further damage. So, just a little bit of information for you. I feel like the early on tutorials didn't explain all of that to the fullest of details, so hopefully this helps you out just that little bit more. Alright, so those were the 10 tips that I have for you, but I wanted to give you a bonus tip on how to win Summoner's Court. Now, this is pretty easy. We're just going to let her take a turn, and what we want to do is actually pull the ball all the way till the middle yellow and then let go as soon as it's a little bit over that halfway mark. Now, if you do this correctly, you should be able to hit 50 every time. And that line that you do not want to cross is past the yellow. If you do too close to the border of that yellow and green right there, you will pull in the ball and it will go right over the edge. So as long as you get that somewhere between that halfway, like very dead middle of that yellow, pulling it up and then letting it go as soon as it hits there, you will be able to hit 50s each and every time. So just a quick, helpful, easy tip to do for you. Alright, so that's all I have for you today, guys. Hopefully you liked the content, and there should be a lot more videos to come. Now, I do have a lot more information I feel like can be given to you guys about this Hogwarts game, especially if you do like it. So please feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget about hitting that little bell to be notified of the next videos that I upload. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Perfect score. Remarkable.